Advaita Gadadhar Srivasadi Gaura Bhaktavrinda. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. So we continue reading from Srimad Bhagavatam Canto 3, Chapter 27, Text 9. Sanubhande cha dehesmin akurvan asad agraham jnanena drishta tatvena prakrite purushasya cha. Translation and purport by His Divine Grace, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada. One's seeing power should be increased through knowledge of spirit and matter, and one should not unnecessarily identify himself with the body and thus become attracted by bodily relationships. So the last text also we had some nice instructions that were given by Lord Kapila-Dev. And now here he's giving some more instruction. He's saying one's seeing power should be increased through knowledge of spirit and matter, and one should not unnecessarily identify himself with the body and thus become attracted by bodily relationships, because we are thinking that this is the reality. All our focus, our energy, everything is based on this body. But he's saying act from the platform of knowledge. He's saying we need to act on the platform of knowledge and see. So that means see through the eyes of scripture. He's saying when we see through knowledge means seeing through the eyes of scripture. The conditioned souls are eager to identify with the body and consider that the body is myself, and that anything in relationship with the body or possessions of the body is mine. So we have completely forgotten our real identity. We don't even know, we can't remember who we are. What's our original form? What's our original duty? What do? We have forgotten. And we are thinking right now that wherever we are finding ourselves, we are thinking that this is my reality. In Sanskrit, this is called aham mamta, and it is the root cause of all conditional life. A person should see things as the combination of matter and spirit. He should distinguish between nature of matter and the nature of spirit, and his real identification should be with spirit, not with matter. By this knowledge, one should avoid the false bodily concept of life. Because we have been in the material world for so long and our knowledge has been covered. So whatever we are looking at matter. We forget to see the spirit. We are looking at only the matter, and then we say that this belongs to me, or this one is mine. It could be a thing, or it could be our relative, and anything we say it's mine. But the more we hear from the scriptures, it will gradually help us to overcome this tendency. Yeah. So, Nivrita Buddhi Avasthano Duribhutanya Darshanaha Upalabhyat Manatmanam Chakshushevarkam Atmadrit. One should be situated in the transcendental position beyond the stages of material consciousness and should be aloof from all other conceptions of life. Thus, realizing freedom from false ego, one should see his own self just as he sees the sun in the sky. Consciousness acts in 3 stages under the material conception of life. When we are awake, consciousness acts in a particular way. When we are asleep, it acts in a different way. And when we are in deep sleep, consciousness acts in still another way. To become Krishna conscious, one has to become transcendental to these 3 stages of consciousness. So our 3 stages of consciousness are called awake, sleep, and deep sleep. And our consciousness acts differently in these 3 stages. Awake, when we are awake, of course, we are aware of things. Sleeping. And then there is another deep sleep. Deep sleep. But the idea we are being told is we have to become Krishna conscious, transcendental. to these three stages. Our present consciousness should be freed from all perceptions of life other than the consciousness of Krishna, the Supreme Personality of Godhead. So means trying to connect everything to Krishna, trying to remember everything and everyone belongs to Krishna. Because otherwise we are thinking everything and everyone belongs to me. Whatever I'm seeing is there for my enjoyment. Things should act according to me. People should act according to me. But if we try to constantly remember Krishna, no, this one belongs to Krishna, no, this thing belongs to Krishna, then that can help us. It's difficult, not easy, but we have to practice. Krishna is saying in Bhagavad Gita to Arjuna, you have to practice. This is called Duri Bhutanya Darshanaha, which means that when one attains perfect Krishna consciousness, he does not see anything but Krishna. So this is our perfect consciousness. Doesn't see anything but Krishna because he rightly understands that Krishna is everywhere. He rightly understands that everything belongs to Krishna. He rightly understands that everyone belongs to Krishna. And so that's how he does not see anything but Krishna. So it doesn't mean that the individuals then lose their individuality. No, but that he is correctly understanding everyone and everything in relation to Krishna. In the Caitanya Caritamrta, it is said that the perfect devotee may see many movable and immovable objects, but in everything he sees that the energy of Krishna is acting. So the energy of Krishna, he's the source of the energy. That's what we have been saying, that this material world, she appears to be automatic. The universal power or universal energy, as we call it, she appears to be independent. But who does she belong to? She belongs to Krishna. She is his energy. As soon as he remembers the energy of Krishna, he immediately remembers Krishna in his personal form. Therefore, in all his observations, he sees Krishna only. So this is a Krishna conscious devotee, a perfect devotee. He is seeing everything and everyone in the proper way, that he's seeing everything and everyone as part and parcel of Krishna. And remembers Krishna in his personal form. Krishna says, you think of me, Arjuna. So this is the point, to remember Krishna in his personal form. This is the perfection. Therefore, in all his observations, he sees Krishna only. In the Brahma Samhita 5.38, it is stated that when one's eyes are smeared with love of Krishna, Premanjana Churita, he always sees Krishna outside and inside. So what is the test to see Krishna everywhere? Brahmaji
Sorry,
in his...
what's the meaning
Yes.
of in his personal form? Krishna in his personal form. Then is Krishna with
Sham
two
Sundar.
handed.
Yeah.
Okay, so
Sham
that is
Sundar
right.
Krishna. Yeah.
Okay,
That means personal form.
thank you.
Thank you. And then Brahmaji, he's saying, so what is the qualification? How can we be able to see Krishna everywhere? How can we remember Krishna everywhere? He says that Premanjana Churita, that we have to smear our eyes with the ointment. Which ointment? No, with the ointment of love of Krishna. We always decorating our eyes with different kinds of makeup to make it look more beautiful. But the real ointment that we need to smear the eyes with is ointment of love of Krishna. And then we will be able to see Krishna everywhere. This is confirmed here. One should be freed from all other vision. And in that way, he's freed from the false egoistic identification and sees himself as the eternal servitor of the Lord. So our true position is that we are eternal servitor of God. And our conditional life is we are thinking, I'm the master, I'm God myself. But the more we hear and chant, we will be situated in our true position as eternal servitor of Lord. And in that way, we will be free from our false ego. Chakshushe Chakshu Shevarkam, as we can see the sun without a doubt. One who's fully developed in Krishna consciousness sees Krishna and his energy. By this vision, one becomes Atmadrik or self-realized. So when we understand Krishna, automatically we will also understand ourselves. We will be able to see ourselves. Just like when the sun rises, everything becomes clear. When it's dark, we can only do guesswork. Maybe it's this, maybe it's that. But when the sun has risen, we can see everything clearly. Similarly, once we establish our relationship with Krishna, we can clearly see ourselves. Clearly. When the false ego of identifying the body with the self is removed, actual vision of life is perceivable. So we are now just now thinking, I'm this body, it's very, very deep, this false ego, this identification. We are convinced that this is us. We are convinced that everything in relation to the body is mine. We are convinced that whatever we are seeing is for our satisfaction. But this is not the actual fact. It is a daydream. It is a daydream. Our real life begins from the point of understanding that I am an eternal servant of God. That is beginning of real life. The senses therefore also become purified. Real service of the Lord begins when the senses are purified. One does not have to stop the activities of the senses, but the false ego of identifying with the body has to be removed. Then the senses automatically become purified, and with purified senses, one can actually discharge devotional service. So Rishikena Rishikesha Sevanam Bhakti Ruchyate. Rishikena Rishikesha. Lord Krishna, he is Rishikesh. Rishikesh means master of the senses. So in this body that we find ourselves in, this body belongs to Krishna. The body is made up of senses. So the senses also belong to Krishna. And when we engage the senses in the service of the master of the senses, then our false ego can become purified. Then our senses will become purified. We can be rightly situated in our position. And in that position, one can actually discharge devotional service. Means giving up the desire for material enjoyment. So it means that endeavoring for that, the desire is there, that I want to please Krishna. The desire is already there. And Srila Prabhupada said, because somebody asked Prabhupada, how many pure devotees are there? Prabhupada said, so the devotee thought Prabhupada might say one or two. How many pure devotees in the world? Prabhupada said, how many devotees are there in our movement? At that time, there were about 5,000. Prabhupada said, so there are 5,000 pure devotees. So the idea to understand is that when one wants to engage in the service of the Lord, wants to give up material activities, material desires, wants to act in devotion to the Lord. Maybe not yet there, but just because the desire is there and he's endeavoring to do it. So that is also a pure devotee. He's also a pure devotee. Again, the idea to understand is that there are many levels of pure devotees, but this is also pure devotional service because he does not want to enjoy separate from Krishna. He wants to be situated in his position of loving relationship with God. Is that okay?
Yes.
So we can see that how just by hearing and chanting, we can achieve the highest perfection. Mukta lingam sad abhasam asati pratipadyate sato bandhum asakchakshu sarvanushyutam advayam. A liberated soul realizes the absolute personality of Godhead, who is transcendental and who is manifest as a reflection even in the false ego. He's the support of the material cause, and he enters into everything. He's absolute, one without a second, and he's the eyes of the illusory energy. A pure devotee can see the presence of the Supreme Personality of Godhead in everything materially manifested. So this is the vision of a pure devotee. So Prabhupada would say that when the sun is away, but the mother sees the shoes of the son, she immediately will remember her son. That's the qualification, because she loves him. So she's not just seeing the shoe, but she's immediately remembers her son. So the pure devotee, that's how he can see. He sees that God is everywhere. Everything belongs to God. He is present there only as a reflection. But a pure devotee can realize that in the darkness of material illusion, the only light is the Supreme Lord, who is its support. So this material world, we are very attracted to this material world, to the glitter of this material world, but actually it's very dark. That's the reason we need sun, the stars. I'm sorry, without the sun, moon, and the stars, we wouldn't be able to see anything. So, but we are still so attracted to it. But the pure devotee, he understands. He understands that this material world is dark, and the only light is because of the Supreme Lord. So he understands things as they are. It is confirmed in Bhagavad Gita that the background of the material manifestations is Lord Krishna. Krishna says, everything emanates from me. Everything is strung on me as pearls are strung on the thread. You know, we see a necklace. Necklace looks very beautiful. The pearls are there seen very beautifully. But what is it that's holding the pearls? It's the thread. Krishna says he is that thread that's holding everything here in the material world. So, and as confirmed in the Brahma Samhita, Krishna is the cause of all causes. Ishvara Parama Krishna. Sarva Karana Karanam. Lord Brahma is saying, Sarva Karana Karanam. We always inquisitive. Why this happened? Oh, because of this. Why this happened? Because of this. Because. And if we see the cause of all causes is Krishna. If we do research work, we have to come to the point of Krishna. In the Brahma Samhita, it is stated that the Supreme Lord, by his partial or plenary expansion, is present not only within this universe and each and every universe, but in every atom, although he's one without a second. So there are no two Krishnas, there's no two gods, there's no two Shiradakshay Vishnu, but he is expanded everywhere. But Paramatma is one, right? There are not many Paramatmas. Paramatma is one. This is Krishna's inconceivable potency, that he is there as Paramatma within our heart, within every atom, and not only of this universe, but of all, each and every universe. Each and every. The word Advayam, without a second, which is used in this verse, indicates that although the Supreme Personality of Godhead is represented in everything, including the atoms, he's not divided. His presence in everything is explained in the next verse. So, he's Paramatma, he's all-pervasive, he's everywhere, and yet he is one. Paramatma is not divided. Yatha jalastha abhasa stalastena vadrishyate swabha shena tatha suryo jalastena dvistitaha. The presence of the Supreme Lord can be realized just as the sun is realized first as a reflection on water, and again as a second reflection on the wall of a room, although the sun itself is situated in the sky. The example given herewith is perfect. The sun is situated in the sky, far, far away from the surface of the earth, but its reflection can be seen in a pot of water in the corner of a room. The room is dark, and the sun is far away in the sky, but the sun's reflection on the water illuminates the darkness of the room. A pure devotee can realize the presence of the Supreme Personality of Godhead in everything, by the reflection of his energy. So the example is given that the sun is far away, yet if the sun's reflection is there in the water, and that's how the room becomes brightened. So similarly, what does a pure devotee see? Pure devotee sees that everything is Krishna's energy. And that's how Krishna is present, by the reflection of his energy. He understands that God is present because everything is his energy. He's the energetic. In the Vishnu Puran, it is stated that as the presence of fire is understood by heat and light, so the Supreme Personality of Godhead, although without a second, is perceived everywhere by the diffusion of his different energies. So Vishnu Puran is saying that when we see heat and light, then we understand that this is fire. Fire, the characteristics are heat and light. Similarly, God, he has this unlimited potencies, his inconceivable potencies. And a pure devotee can understand that these potencies belong to the potent, the Supreme Lord. So that's how he can understand that God is one, but he has these multiple energies by which he's being all pervasive. It is confirmed in the Isopanisad that the presence of the Lord is perceived everywhere by the liberated soul, just as the sunshine and the reflection can be perceived everywhere, although the sun is situated far away from the surface of the globe. So sometimes Srila Prabhupada would also give the example that when the boss of the company, so he is not there in all the departments, but his presence is there because everyone is working under his order. So that's how his instructions are being carried out. Everyone is conscious that, okay, this is the boss's order, we have to do it in this way. Although the boss is personally sitting somewhere else. Of course, this is a very tiny example because, we are not omnipotent, but this is just to bring, to help us understand a bit that because Krishna, he's one. He's one. He's far, far away, yet he's everywhere because he has all these energies by which he is present everywhere. Is that okay?
Yes, very clear.
Did anyone want to add or comment on anything?
No, it's clear, yeah.
Okay. Thank you so much for listening in and joining in. Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai, Srila Prabhupada ki jai, Gaur Bhakta Vrinda ki jai. Hare Krishna.